And we find, my dear brothers, I was at a conference just last week, or 2 weeks ago, and more than 20,000 Muslims came to the city of Toronto. And I met one of the old aunties that I've known from the time that I've accepted Islam. And she came to me, she said, "Are you not sitting listening to the lecture?" I said, "No, auntie, we're doing fundraising for our program. We have a new Muslim program, and nobody's really looking after the affairs of the new Muslims." She said, "Well, brother, aren't you working in the jail anymore?" I said, "Well, I used to." He said, "Well, brother, you should do that." So I pulled up, opened my email, and I showed her that I was asked again from the government of Canada to be an imam. But not a real imam. What they want me to be is a duty chaplain, meaning that I service anybody who needs any religious, whether it's Muslim, Christian, or Jewish or Sikh, that needs to become part of the organization. You teach kufr or anything. And I said, "I can't do that. I can't do that. My faith doesn't allow." And she said, "No, brother, you can kind of put your Islam in." I said, "No, when you're a duty chaplain, you are basically working for the government. You're not a Muslim chaplain." And unfortunately, Akhwan, these programs have been getting extant over the years. And I said to the auntie, I said, "Auntie, you know, all these great scholars and all these people are coming in, but the reality is that we don't understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah." And now you can imagine an old auntie who was born Muslim, who was born in a particular Muslim country. I asked her, "Can you tell me the meaning of La ilaha illallah?" And as she was standing there, some more youth passed by. And I asked her, "What does it mean?" And she said, "There's no God but God." I said, "No, that's not what it means. That's not what it means, because there are other aliha. There are other ilah that people worship. People worship Isa ibn Maryam. People worship angels. People worship sheikhs. People worship the moon, the sun. There are other worships. But the only thing, ya ikhwan, that deserves to be worshipped is Allah Ta'ala. And unfortunately, ya ikhwan, the Prophet wanted to say, إِنَّمَا الْإِنْ بِالتَّعَلُّمْ إِنَّمَا الْإِنْ بِالتَّعَلُّمْ وَإِنَّمَا الْحِنْ بِالتَّحَلُّمْ. That knowledge is learned through studying. And patience is learned through being patient. So, ya ikhwan, we have to be patient while we're studying this religion, ya ikhwan. And when you look at the situation, many of the Muslims, they have not studied the istilahi meaning, the terminology meaning of La ilaha illallah. First of all, ya ikhwan, there is what they call La nahiya and La nafiya. This is La nafiya. Total negation. There is nothing or no one that deserves to be worshipped except for Allah. So I asked her this and she couldn't answer it. We pulled some more teenagers and university students that were passing by in the souk area and we asked them, "Can you explain this?" And they couldn't. Then we said to them, "What comes after that statement?" They said, "Muhammad or Rasul." I said, "We didn't get there yet. We're not talking about the Prophet ﷺ. What comes after La ilaha illallah?" They thought for about 5 minutes and then they said, "Wahdahu la sharika lah." This is something that we learn as kids at the madrasa, but we don't understand this yet, ikhwan. Wahdahu means that you single out Allah solely for worship. You single Him out alone. And then He has no partners. And He has no associates. So we look at the situation, ya ikhwan. Allah Azza wa Jal, in His Quran, which we read, but do we ponder? Which we read, but do we ponder? He has given some beautiful titles to this concept of La ilaha illallah. Allah Ta'ala has said, it is Kalimatul Taqwa. It is Lahu Da'watul Haq. It is Baqiyatul Salihat, Allah says. It is Kalimatul Tayyib. It is Kalimatul Ikhlas. And it is Al-Urwatul Wufqa, ya ikhwan. These are expressions to the Arabs. Ibadah explaining the significance and the importance of this. And when we look at the situation, ya ikhwan, our La ilaha illallah is not the same La ilaha illallah that Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that he was raised upon. When we look at his situation, my dear brothers and my dear sisters, we find that Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who wanted to get away from the society, which was a society that was based on kufr and shirk, and they beat him, and they beat him under a hot sun, over with a rock on his head, beating him in the sand, putting his bare back after they beat him severely, pushing him into the sand, and his words were what? Ahadun ahad, ahadun ahad, one God, one God. His La ilaha illallah is not like ours, brothers. Look at the sacrifice that he made. Salman al-Farisi, rahimahullah, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he traveled from place to place looking for the pure religion after he met some monks. And they said, if you want the pure religion, a new prophet is going to come that's going to teach the old religion, the Hanafiyyah to Samha, the old upright religion. And he kept traveling and traveling and traveling. He was sold into slavery and finally came to the city of Yathrib, which is now called Medina al-Munawwara or Medinat al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. and he met the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His statement of La ilaha illallah is not on the same level as our statement. Also, Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala anha, for the sisters that are listening, they beat her, and they beat her, and they beat her, and before she died, rahmatullah alayha, they stabbed her, ya ikhwan. So when we say La ilaha illallah, is it on the same level? Do we look at our Islam on the level of them? They said La ilaha illallah, we say La ilaha illallah, the Muslims say La ilaha illallah. Ya ikhwan, this is something. Someone coming from Christianity who wants the pure monotheistic religion. This is something that I've been struggling with for a long time. Trying to comprehend, trying to understand. And I've met Muslims, ya ikhwan. They say La ilaha illallah. They may have a turban to the sky. They may have a beard to the ground. They may have a thobe up above their ankles. These are all beautiful signposts. But what they believe, i'tiqadi, is not the same way that the Prophet ﷺ and the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were taught Islam. Let's bring some dalil from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qala Allah ta'ala, Allah ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ رَسُولٍ أَنْ يَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ يَا إِخْوَانِ. Allah ta'ala says, and verily we have sent you among every ummah, a messenger. That means every prophet came with this message. Worship Allah. And it's not just complete just by worshiping Allah, but that you have to avoid the false deities, the false idols that are worshipped other than Allah. It's part and parcel of nafi wa ithbat, negation, affirmation. Again, Allah Ta'ala said in another ayah, فَمَنْ يَغْفُرْ بِالتَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى. Allah Ta'ala goes on to say, whoever disbelieves, again, here is showing negation, whoever disbelieves, he makes kufr. He makes kufr of the false deities, and he believes in Allah, then he has grasped the most strong handhold that will never break, ya ikhwan. Ya ikhwan, this belief system that we have, people want to understand Islam, but many of us were not equipped to go out in the streets. Right down here, one of the main tourist attractions in all of Canada right here. How many of us can go out right now and explain to Bob and Sally and Susie what Islamic monotheism is? We have, mashallah, beautiful youth that are in the masjid, and they're memorizing Quran. And I remember I was sitting with one of the sheikhs in Toronto, and mashallah, the sheikh boasts that over the last 20 years, he's had more than 2,000 youth that have become Hufaz al-Quran. And the Muslims say, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, that's great, ya ikhwan. But the emphasis is not only for us, our children, to be hafiz of Quran only. We want our children, ya ikhwan, to be muwahid. We want our children to be muwahid. And the reason why I say this, ya ikhwan, is recently, having comparative religion discussions with some of my family members who claim to have embraced Islam, but the type of Islam that they embrace, they said, let us come together. Let's work together. Two of my cousins. Let's come together. We all believe in La ilaha illallah. Sounds good. Sounds beautiful. But ya ikhwan, the way I understand La ilaha illallah and the way they understand it is polar opposites. And I'm going to give you an example. One of my cousins believes in a concept, and if you study, brothers, really go and study, especially Ahl al-Arab. You have access to the books. You have access to the shuyukh. Go and look at this issue. One of my cousins believes in a concept called al-wahdatul wujud, that Allah is the universe and the universe is Allah. That Allah is in everything and everything is Allah. So he believes this microphone is Allah, and this is Allah, and that is Allah, and this is Allah, and akramakallah, the washroom, the thing that you flush down the toilet, that's Allah. How can we have brotherhood and unity when his belief system is far, ya ikhwan? And this is called, ya ikhwan, this is called what? It is called pantheism. And if we look at this situation, my dear brothers, this is so serious that we have people who say things like this. There's people that are agnostic, meaning that they believe in a God, or they don't have full knowledge of a God, or that God is real, but he's not really in our existence. He's out in the universe somewhere. You know, maybe there's God, I'm not really sure. These are agnostic people. Some Muslims or people with names of Muslims are becoming like this. Also, pantheism. This is wahdatul wujud. Belief that the universe is part of God and that God is part of the universe. Also, atheism. They don't believe in any gods at all. Then there is, ya ikhwan, the issue of henotheism. That there is a God that you worship, but you can serve some other gods. You worship one God, but you can worship some other gods. The Greeks have these beliefs. They believe in a Zeus and then they believe in other gods. Ya ikhwan, we have to understand our faith. La ilaha illallah is not a joke, ya ikhwan. And this is why the Prophet went on to say, Ya yuhan nasu, kulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu. He went on to say, O people, say la ilaha illallah and you'll be successful. And Allah Ta'ala goes on to say in another ayah, Illa man shahada bil haqq wa hum ya'lamun. Allah Ta'ala says, except for those who bear witness, ashhadu, to the truth that there is only one deity that deserves to be worshipped, that is Allah Azza wa Jal. And ya ikhwan, and they know. And Allah Ta'ala says, fa'alam annahu la ilaha illallah wastaghfir li dhanbik. Allah says, know, have certainty, ya ikhwan. So how is it now, my brothers, that my other cousin, he says to me, let's unite. I say la ilaha illallah, and you say la ilaha illallah, but he believes like my mother and my father believe that God came down in the incarnate person of Isa ibn Maryam. He said that God came down in the incarnate of Ali radiallahu ta'ala. And I said to him, do you not understand?